Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we are testing the new Minecraft snapshot slash preview, and the one I'm obviously doing is the preview version because obviously on my console, so that's the only one I can get, but it's basically the same thing, so that's alright. So I wanted to go over testing some of the new features that we got. I think there's a lot to talk about with a new weapon in particular here, which I'll get into in a second, but also a couple other things. It's not very often we get a new weapon, so I think it's definitely worth discussing. So obviously, if you haven't seen, our new weapon that we got is the spear, which you can see right here, the site crafted, which is 2 sticks and 1 diamond. It's basically just a shovel, but diagonal, basically. And you could do it the other way too. You could put it there, like that way too, and you get the spear. So you just grab yourself a spear, and there you go, you got a new weapon. Now, unlike some of the other weapons you've gotten over time, this is actually a tiered weapon. So there's, you got your wood, your stone, your copper, iron, and so on and so forth. And obviously, like all these here, you can craft them the same, except obviously for netherite, which works like everything else. You throw it in here and you upgrade it, and you get your netherite spear. So I know you're probably wondering, what's so unique about the spear? Well, it has 2 different things. Well, 2 different attacks, I should say. And we'll go over them here. We're going to go over the first one, just this basic poke attack. And it just functions like, kind of like a sword. You just attack. Nothing really special, but a couple unique properties with the spear's primary attack. First of all, I go to survival here. It actually has a little extra reach compared to most weapons. Okay, so I get like right... So I get it from that far. From here I can't hit him, right? But with the spear I can. The spear has a little extra reach. But it seems to be about like an extra half block or to a block. So that's pretty nice. The second thing it does is it has a slight bit of pierce to it. So if I stack a couple zombies on top of each other, and I can hit them all at the same time. So it's kind of like a midi sweeping edge. It's not like a big radius to it, I'm pretty sure, so I think there's like some space in between them, it would have a hard time hitting them. But if you have a couple mobs right on top of each other, it's pretty cool. You see how like that one's a little bit to the right, it doesn't work anymore. It's a very tight window of where you can get the pierce. And that's where we get into the weapon's secondary attack, which is the charge attack. I don't know if that's exactly what it's called, but it's basically an attack you can do when you're sprinting it. So you got your normal poke like a sword, like how you would swing a sword, like the same click, just boom boom. Has a little bit of cooldown obviously, but then if you do the other attack, you hold out your spear like so, and you kind of hold it out. You see it gets a little tired, and then eventually it'll come back up. So I know you're probably wondering, what does this attack do? Well, it's a kind of a sprinting attack, or I guess like a momentum attack. It basically is like you charge with it, and the faster you go, the more damage it does, basically. So if I run at this iron golem, just normal sprint, it does hit a couple times, so that was a little hard to tell, but that was probably about like, that was 13 damage, that's about 7 each. So yeah, basically the faster you go, the more damage it does. This regular sprinting with this weapon isn't too interesting. You can hit a couple times there. And I know you probably look at that, it's like, man, that's not really that impressive. But when it gets more impressive when you start building speed. So this is something as simple as taking a speed 2 potion and just throwing that on myself. And just like that, now we did 8 damage just from throwing some speed on. But we can take that a little farther. What if we hop on our nice fast horse over here? Then we wind up here, charge in. And that did almost 15 damage. And then once again, same horse, but we splash speed 2 on it. And we go in here with speed 2 horse. Look at that. That's 20 hearts of damage almost right there, just with an unenchanted spear. And obviously, if you want to go even faster, you can even go on elytra, and boom. I'm pretty sure that does a whopping 40 damage there. So yeah, obviously, like I said, the faster you go, the more damage it's going to do, which is pretty fun weapon concept. So yeah, that's weapons 2 attack. You got your poke, and you got your charge attack. And obviously, like any other weapon, it can be enchanted. You can enchant at the table normally. And all the enchants that the weapon can roll with is basically anything that can go on a sword. So you can get your sharpness, your smite, or your bane of arthropods. You get your knockback, your looting, your fire aspect. And then you get your universal enchants, unbreaking and mending. But the spear comes with 1 new enchant right now. And that would be lunge. And it comes in 3 levels. And well, it does basically what you think it does. When you attack, you lunge forward a bit. And I know you probably see this, like, you come over here, and then, you lunge, you're like, wow, you go forward, like, 2 blocks. That's pretty cool. Well, you can make it a little bit more interesting if you throw in a jump. You go much further there. Just by adding a little jump, you go from 2 blocks to almost 10 blocks here. And obviously, you can just do this, go around. And obviously, if you're in survival, I think it sucks about this right now. In the preview version, this will eat up your durability. If you look at my durability, that is disappearing. And this is netherite, by the way, so this is pretty durable. That is getting chunked. Now, in the Java edition of snapshots, right now it takes up hunger when you do it. That's what they're testing right now. But it does eat up a lot of hunger. I think with Lunge 3, it takes 2.5 bars of hunger just to do this. And I don't know, for both iterations of it... Yep, there it goes. For both iterations of this weapon, and I'm not gonna be wrong, this is a, it's a neat enchantment for the weapon, but I don't understand the point of it, if that makes sense. And to kind of show you what I mean by I don't understand the point of this enchant, I got two spears here. This is one maxed out with all the normal sword enchants it rolls with, and here's one the same with lunge on it. Now, I don't put knockback on personally because I don't like knockback. So obviously I feel like the point of this weapon is to keep mobs out of your reach, so I put this Vindicator, I can just keep them away from me. Don't have to worry about getting hit at all. So obviously with the sword there, I probably would have gotten hit by him and probably died because I'm not wearing armor. But if I use lunge, like say if I want to fight him, then it's just... See, I'm like forced to get close to him. I eat the hit for no reason. I feel like that will just allow you to get hit unnecessarily a lot. You kind of just... You put yourself close by the enemy to get hit. It just doesn't feel... Especially if you miss, then you're just kind of like stuck closer to him for no reason. It feels... kind of counterintuitive what the weapon does, you know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like this enchant, it's just more for movement, but like, do we really need more movement stuff? Like, we already got plenty of stuff. We got horses, we got minecarts, we got boats, which a couple could probably use some buffs to make them compete with the Elytra, because obviously everyone's using the Elytra, but like, this isn't really anything that's special. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but it feels kind of uninteresting, because like, if you look at our other weapons we've gotten over the years, like, we've got the Trident, which has 4 enchants that make you unique, and you can build it different ways. Like, yeah, Impaling's universal, you can put it with everything, but do you want it to be a Loyalty or Channeling Trident? Or do you want it to be a Riptide Trident? Use that for movement, which is honestly better movement than the spear. And then you got the crossbow, you can put Quick Charge on, but then you want Piercing or Multi-Shot, and then you get the Mace, and you get your Wind Burst, or your Density. If you don't want Density, you get Breach. Like, do you want your damage to scale faster, or do you want to penetrate armor? And then you got the spear here, which is 1 enchant. Now, it could just be, the testing just came out, so maybe they'll give it a couple more enchants. But the fact they gave it all the sword weapons, they kind of make it feel, it kind of feels a little bland compared to the other weapons we got. I don't know if they're going for like a sword alternative, because that would make a little more sense, but like the 1 enchant they give it feels kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to use this, I'm just going to put these enchants on it instead, and just not use lunge and just use it for a little extra poke. And then at that point, why not just use the sword? The only thing I'd probably use that for is like maybe for some mob farms, since it has the pierce. You can hit multiple enemies. Otherwise, it's like, eh. Now, I wish, hopefully, maybe it's just because, like I said, there's just not updates. So I hope they add more enchants to this weapon instead. And like they go the path of all these other weapons and give them like alternative options. I thought of a couple things here. So like instead of like just having just lunge, maybe. First of all, you get rid of all the sword enchants that you can put on it. So you get rid of all these, you can't put them on it, and you give them like a couple new enchants. And a couple I thought of like, for example, maybe an enchant like Momentum, where obviously how the weapon works, the faster you go, the more damage it does. Maybe Momentum can like make it scale faster, so it'd be like you'd be able to get more damage out of it easier. And then, or you get an enchant like Reach, which gives it even more reach. Maybe a little extra half block or something, make it a real pokey weapon. Or a really cool enchant is maybe like a cavalry enchant where it does more damage when you're on a mount. Really play into that charge attack. I think that would be kind of cool. It's kind of giving it that options would make it kind of feel aligned with the other weapons you've gotten, where they're unique in their own way. The weapon is unique in its own way. It's got its unique attacks, but in terms of enchants, it doesn't really feel that special. So I really hope they take their time with that. Hopefully, maybe people get feedback. Maybe they'll add more enchants, make the enchants better. But if it comes out with just 1 enchant, that's not even that interesting in my opinion. It feels kind of lackluster. Either that, if you don't want to give it enchants, you should be able to make it where it pairs with shields pretty well. Like, you could be able to attack with your shield up. I think that would be kind of cool. If you did that, I wouldn't even care about the enchants. That would be a cool combo. Do a spear and shield combo. Be an actual Spartan, that'd be kind of sick. There's something to make the weapon a little bit extra special, like how the other weapons are, because tridents are cool. Crossbows are niche, but they can be cool because you can put fireworks in them and stuff. And then obviously the mace is a pretty fun weapon to get. It's a little hard to get, but it's really fun. Being able to slam enemies and jump around with it, it's pretty fun. I feel like there's some more unique enchants would make it feel better. So it's like you have options. So yeah, overall, ignoring like that feedback, the spear is a cool weapon. It is cool that we're getting new weapons. I'm glad they're adding new stuff like this. I hope they just take some extra care for it, that's all. And speaking of the spear, zombies can now spawn with them on horseback. With the newly added to survival zombie horse, these can spawn naturally now in the world. Now obviously I couldn't spawn one here with the spawn egg, but I did find one here. We'll go to it in a second. So basically these zombies can spawn on horses at night. In plains biomes, I'm pretty sure. I think only plains. They'll spawn there on horseback with the spear. And let's go look at one real quick here that I found. I went and ran around, and I was able to name tag one here. Took me about like 5 minutes to find him, so it's like a decently rare. So here he is. We got one here. This one's spawned with the helmet too, so he's kind of cool. So they spawn. Don't mind the name tag. So they spawn on horseback there. So we saw my survival here. Here he comes with a charge attack, and he kind of just stops. Ooh. Yeah, he's a little finicky. He's still in the early testings, but he will do the charge attack at you. It does about a heart or so. Nothing really too crazy, but I know in the Java version of testing, they buffed the damage on spears for both the player and enemies, so this is probably going to be more threatening. Yeah, the hitbox is very finicky, so maybe it'll get more polished in time. But it's pretty cool, because obviously you can kill the zombie on him and get the horse now, which we'll go over here in a second. But yeah, overall, that's not really a threatening combo right now, because I'm literally just standing here. I literally have to walk into him. It seems like after he does the first poke, he kind of just forgets what to do. He kind of just stands here. So either like the AI's got to improve, or it'd be cool if there were more like skeleton horses where they could spawn in a pack. If they were probably a swarm of them attacking you, it would definitely be more threatening. But overall, these guys are pretty weak right now. But yeah, once the AI gets fixed better, he'll probably be much more. He'll be much more threatening. And obviously, with the zombie horse now, you can tame him. They're always have fixed health. They have like 22 hearts always, I'm pretty sure. Or that's 24 health. 24 health, not 22. And obviously, since they're a zombie, you cannot take them out in daylight, because if you do, they'll catch on fire. Because obviously they're a zombie. So you need to put your horse armor on them to keep them safe. You see, this one's got the armor. He's really safe. Not very fast. I don't know if the speed varies on it. This one's pretty slow. Is this one fast? Okay, so they do have random stats. This one's much faster. It's kind of burned to death, but he'll be fine. So yeah, this is another cool thing you can collect now. You can collect your skeleton horses. Now you can collect the zombie horses. So yeah, having zombies horses in survival after all these years is pretty sick. I'm glad they finally found a use for them. And obviously the last thing we got here now is the Nautilus here. I got a couple of them swimming around. I got both variants of them. I got the regular Nautilus here, and I got the zombie version. These guys swim in the water. You can tame them with pufferfish. You grab a saddle. So you come over here. You tame them up. Throw a saddle on them, and then boom, you're on. And you can do a little dash attack on them. You can pop out of the water with this, which is pretty fun. And while you are in survival, you can breathe underwater. See, like my water's not ticking off. See that I got Breath of the Nautilus here, which is a unique effect. It's basically like just water breathing, basically. And oh yeah, by the way, you can tame both variants. You can tame the zombie one too, and you can saddle them up, and it works just the same. I think they have less. No, the health is about the same, obviously, but the zombie ones are neutral. I think they'll attack you if you hit them. And obviously, like a mount, like a horse, you can put armor on them. Surprisingly. You got copper armor here, you got iron, you got gold, diamond, and netherite. Which I'm pretty sure, I think you craft these. Let me check. I didn't check that actually. That's on me. Okay, yeah, I don't think you craft them. I think you actually have to find them in the world. I know they spawn in a couple places. Okay, yeah, I think you gotta loot them from structures then. It's like horse armor. That's why I couldn't find a recipe. Okay. And I'm assuming the diamond one can be upgraded to netherite, because I don't think you can find a netherite one. Yep, you upgrade the netherite one. So you can find the first 4 tiers, the netherite one you got craft. As for where, I'm not sure right this second. I'll throw up something on the screen and I'll tell you where you can find them. And the zombie versions, they spawn with drowned on them with tridents. I just don't feel like finding one, just take my word for it. It probably works better than this mount because obviously the drowned that throw tridents, that's pretty OP. They can just chuck those things at you. And yeah, that's basically about all the stuff that's in the testing right now. But like, what do you guys think? Do you think the spear is good? Do you want it to be better? Let me know down below. But you know, worst case scenario, if this thing does suck, you can always use it as a funny pointer. Like, hey, where's the stronghold? That way. Alright, that was funny, I'm sorry. So yeah, that about covers it for this testing snapshot preview thingy, whatever you want to call it. I do want to cover more of these testing snapshots because obviously, you know, if you couldn't tell, I really like Minecraft. I'm trying to come back to YouTube more again, so I might cover these every now and then. Plus, they're pretty small, so they're pretty easy to cover usually. But yeah, with that, that is the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed and want to see more of these kind of update videos, you know what to do. Make sure to leave a like below, comment, subscribe, all that YouTuber stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.